It's all about the Meghan Markle effect. Her style sparking huge sales, inspiring women around the world, bringing a touch of laid-back Hollywood to the royal family.
We're going to talk to you, make you feel like you're the only person in the room.
You happy when she said she likes tequila. That's what that. When you said tequila. What do you make of the Markle sparkle?
Oh gosh, I think this is the very beginning of this huge wave we're going to ride in terms of Meghan and her popularity and her fascination. I think people are just going to be clamoring for more and more of this. I mean, we saw those websites crashing for what she was wearing yesterday, and she looked phenomenal. And I think there's such an accessibility about Meghan that I think girls in America particularly are going to be clamoring for her style.
How do you describe her?
Thank you so much for clicking on my video. And if you're returning, welcome back to my channel. Today, I want to talk about Meghan's fashion in a way that I want to give a bigger look at it. And I want to have a more well-rounded conversation about Meghan's style. Now, here's the thing. You know, we do this on Wednesdays, a Sussex style video, and usually I have an isolated outfit or look or moment that I want to talk about. But you know what I never did was give a broad look at why I love her style, why I think it works for her, and why I've chosen to give it its own day on my channel because it's worthy. And here's the thing. We're going to be looking at some royal looks, but mostly I want to look at her pre-royal life. Now, here's the greatest thing. You guys know I lost my voice this week, and every time I have to record, it is a struggle. So this week, I have been enjoying letting people speak for themselves, and today is no different. So we're going to hear what other people, and you might be surprised too, think of her style, but most importantly, we're going to hear what Meghan thinks of her own style. So let's get into it.
So much better.
Can I take a picture?
Of course. What's your name?
Gohar.
Gohar. Meghan, nice to meet you.
Once again, thank you so much for clicking on my video. If you have not already, feel free to go ahead and like this video, subscribe to my channel, and turn on that notification bell. I want to say a big hello to all of the viewers, the watchers, but especially the subscribers and the members. I want to say a big hello to the kings and queens, the Patreon viewers, the YouTube members, and I'm going to curtsy to the royal court. Thank you so much for supporting the channel and for all that you do. So again, today I want to allow Meghan to tell us about her fashion, and then I want us to visit a few people speaking to us about Meghan's style. And then before we get out of here, I have 4 formal gowns that I want to talk about. And then I have one very special gown that I want to end on. And then we're going to have some chat time. So today we have a very special video for you, and I hope you enjoy. Let's get started. Meghan, tell us about your style, girl.
Jeans. Leather. Taupe. Heels. Sunglasses. That's easy. Black. I love monochromatic dressing, so it could go either way with that one. Mwah!
She's also a good friend of mine. Now, welcome to the show, Meghan Markle!
Yeah. Rachel, my character has the best wardrobe you could ever imagine.
I was gonna say.
I do borrow things here and there. Like there's a Tom Ford skirt that I'm like, I think if Rachel can wear that on a Tuesday as a paralegal, I can certainly borrow that for a Valentine's date.
When you started that show, we talked about the personal style of you and the look of your character, and you're like, oh, they're very different. Have they started to morph together?
Once you've been invested in a character for that long, there starts to be a bit of an overlap.
Absolutely.
Have a better knowledge of other designers too. And I like to look polished and put together, but there's always going to be like an effortless quality to it, just being from LA.
Yeah.
In my off time, I'm not going to wear a pencil skirt because I wear one 5 days of the week for work. I think the most important thing you can do is tailoring. You think that it's not going to make a big impact, but if it fits you to a T, you look a million times better. And I learned that working on suits. Me, I love that it's a family-owned company. I love that it's a Canadian company. And really, we're just re-energizing it Finding pieces that already exist in the collection and styling them in a way that makes it accessible, approachable, and just chic. This is all Reitman's.
I like to think of Rachel as a really good girlfriend whose closet you can borrow from sometimes. So, yes, there are a couple of really great pieces from Burberry that she has loaned me, which make their way back. And I also sort of love her wardrobe because it's lots of mix and matchable pieces, like a real woman's wardrobe.
Now that we have had an opportunity to hear Meghan's perspective on her style, I want to go ahead and talk about just my takeaway from those interviews, but also some of the revelations I came across when I was going through her different interviews. One of my favorite things about her interviews is that, or some of the things that she said in her interviews, is that she made it a point to mention you don't always have to be on trend in any moment. And I think the best representation of that advice being sound and really good advice is the fact that in every interview, in every photo, in every video, you wouldn't know what date or time those things were taken of her because her style transcends time. If you want to know if you are developing or if you embody a classic style or a transcendent style, meaning at any point in time your style would make sense, is if you can tell when a photo was taken based on what you're wearing. And that's something you cannot do with Meghan because she does not bother with staying on trend. One of the things that she does is stays current, meaning whatever's going on at the moment, sure, she can incorporate it, but she always makes sure to make it her own. And that's why when you see her in different looks, you really don't know if that was in 2018, 2016, 2013, or now. And that's because she doesn't bother with trying to keep up with the Joneses. She knows that she's the moment. And I think it's all about confidence in your own personal style and what works best for you. And I also want to point out, although this video is about style and fashion, hair is a really big part of that. Makeup is a really big part of that. And while Meghan will produce different looks, they are always looks that make sense for her. And even with her haircuts are always very flattering for her face, her frame, the message she's trying to convey. And she always has it styled just so. And it doesn't look like it was combed into an immovable bun or hair sprayed to death or spritzed to death. It's movable. It's flexible. It moves with her. It's alive. Like one of the things she does not portray is like a porcelain figure. She's happy to be a living, approachable, easygoing girl or woman. And I love that her style, her hair, and her makeup all convey that while always looking chic and posh and very refined. I love that she took the time to kind of break that down, how that came to be. Another and my last point that I wanted to make based on those interviews of her giving her own perspective on her style is the fact that at any point in those earlier interviews, which I had to go look up the published and the recorded date to know when they were taken. And I could tell based on what she was saying about suits, kind of what time period it was in, but I could never tell based on her clothes. But one of the things that I noticed about the earlier interviews is some of the things that she said about her style and her must-haves when it comes to her fashion. You can see the seeds being planted way back then that would later develop into the style that she has today. And in each time period, you see her style, it still looks like her. But as you see her evolve into what we now know is like her classic royal style and then her post-royal style, and now her style and her fashion have now been segmented based on her relation to the royal family or her time in the royal family. One of the things that I love is that it always looks like Meghan. Even when she went into the royal family and she, definitely was followed quote unquote protocol, which most of those protocols were bullshit, which we know, but she did go for it and she fit in like a glove. And as a matter of fact, she made everybody else step their game up. That's what it means and that's the kind of impact you have when you are always true to yourself. You can be in any environment, and as long as you make what's appropriate for that environment your own, you will always be the moment. And so I wanted to say that. We're going to take a look at 4 different formal gowns that I wanted to talk about because these are 4 of my favorites. I have many favorites. So if we went through all of my favorite formal gowns from Meghan, we would be here all day. So I wanted to highlight 4, and then I'm going to give space for Meghan to highlight one in particular, which we'll get to. But let's get into this first one, shall we? So the first gown I want to talk about is the Carolina Herrera gown from her Resort 2018 collection. And it's the Mikado Bustier tulle gown that Meghan wore when she did the cover of Vanity Fair. Now, I was going to actually read the article itself, but instead I decided to move forward and just read the excerpts from Meghan's Mirror. And the reason is Meghan's Mirror did an amazing job of pulling in a great summary of the Vanity Fair article. So, again, this is on Meghan's Mirror. Both articles are linked in the description box below. And it starts with in exciting news. Meghan Markle was announced today as the featured star on the cover of Vanity Fair's October issue. The enlightening article, in which Meghan shares quotes about Prince Harry, her TV show Suits, and her life with the fame dating a British prince brings, even has the author, Sam Kashner, raving about Meghan's home cooking. The article also shared a variety of photographs, which highlight Meghan's chic, classic style. The cover article features Meghan wearing, dun, 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 the gown in the photo above is by Carolina Herrera from her Resort 2018 collection. It's called the Mikado Bustier Tulle Gown and costs a staggering $7,990 when it becomes available. Here are some of our favorite glimpses into Meghan Markle's life as shared by the article. Quote, Markle was wearing a red knee-length floral dress, a designer I've been wearing for years, with her rescue dogs, Bogart and Guy, wagging their tails beside her. A slim brunette with a lightly freckled, glowing complexion and an upturned nose, she turns like the sun-kissed California girl she's always been. We've known Meghan was a fan of Erdem, a Canadian designer, but it's nice to see her sharing that this is not just a new fashion relationship. No doubt remember the Erdem dress Meghan wore to accompany Prince Harry to a Jamaican wedding earlier this year. Meghan also shared the challenges of her newfound fame. Markle, new to fame, has handled the hoopla with surprising aplomb. Quote, it has its challenges and it comes in waves. Some days it can feel more challenging than others, she says. And right out of the gate, it was surprising the way things changed, but I still have this support system all around me. And of course, my boyfriend's support. We can only imagine how much her life must have changed overnight for a girl from LA. The photo below captures a real California girl essence, doesn't it? The coat is believed to be by Max Mara, and the earrings are from Californian designer Zafia Day. Zafia Day's designer, Lisette Pointy, confirmed the earring design to us and also confirmed that they were thrilled with her wearing them. One of our favorite things about the article were the great photos included, all styled by Jessica Deal, who styles many stars for Vanity Fair. She was the style brains behind the Caitlyn Jenner shoot a few years ago. Meghan also shared how she almost had a style misstep in auditioning for Rachel Zane on Suits, what now amounts to over 100 episodes ago. When she auditioned for the role, Markle showed up in black jeans, a plum-colored spaghetti strap top, and heels. It suddenly occurred to her that for the screen test, she needed to look less casual and more like a lawyer. She dashed into an H&M and bought a little black dress for $35. Sure enough, she was asked to change into the dress, which she hadn't even tried on. Thank God it fit. Wouldn't we all love to see what that little black H&M dress was? In the meantime, we can swoon over this photo below. The shirt and coat are from Burberry and the jeans are by AG. The article also shares Meghan's thoughts about Prince Harry, which included the L word and how the relationship has changed her. I think this is supposed to be how the relationship has not changed her. Quote, I can tell you that at the end of the day, I think it's really simple, she says. We're two people who are really happy and in love. We were very quietly dating for about 6 months before it became news, and I was working during that whole time, and the only thing that changed was people's perception. Nothing about me changed. I'm still the same person that I am, and I've never defined myself by my relationship. Strong, independent, and happy. 3 great things for a woman to be. Next outfit I want to take a look at is one of my absolute all-time favorites ever. Not even just one of my favorite Meghan looks, but this dress was a moment. And the designer of this dress actually designed one of the pairs of shoes that I wore on my wedding day. So I'm pulling from an article in Vogue. And of course, you know what outfit I'm going to be talking about or what dress I'm going to be talking about. And the title of this article is Meghan Markle wears Ralph and Russo for her first official engagement picture with Prince Harry. And there is literally no word that says first. I just added that. And this is by Edward Barsamian. This morning, Kensington Palace released the official engagement portraits of Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. The picture-perfect portrait comes just days after the royal holiday lunch, where Markle reportedly wore a festive dress from self-portrait with glittering accents. Today, we see that same sparkle in her official portrait. Markle, dressed in a Ralph and Russo dress, is looking every bit the part of a modern-day royal. The official engagement portrait strikes a very different note compared to the couple's first public appearance as an engaged couple. There, outside Kensington Palace, Markle wore a simple cream coat from Line the Label while flashing her engagement ring for the cameras. Even in Markle's brief time in the royal spotlight, her signature style always comes through, making us all the more eager for the royal wedding on May 19th.
Good evening, everyone. I am delighted to be able to announce that the Australian Geographic Young Conservationist of the Year for 2018 is Sophia Skarparis. Please welcome Sophia to the stage to accept her award.
So y'all already know I love this dress, the bird dress from Oscar de la Renta. It's one of my absolute favorite dresses that Meghan has ever worn. She looked like an absolute doll. She looked like the quintessential Disney princess. It is one of my favorite dresses. So I'm pulling from an article in Vogue to talk a little bit more about the dress. The title of this article is Meghan Markle Wears an Evening Gown for the First Time. Meghan Markle dazzled at the Australian Geographic Society Awards on October 26, to which she wore a tulle evening gown adorned with bird motif embroidery from Oscar de la Renta's Fall/Winter 2018 to 2019 pre-collection. Now, this was written by Par Heloise Salesi and is translated by Rosa Cecilia Gosling. And this dress does look amazing. This is just so perfect. Oh, this is a beautiful gown. During her tour of Australia with Prince Harry, Meghan Markle presented the awards for Adventurer of the Year and Young Conservationist of the Year at the Australian Geographic Society Awards in Sydney. For the occasion, the Duchess of Sussex wore a fairy tale worthy gown dress from Oscar de la Renta's Fall/Winter 2018 to 2019 pre-collection. The dress consisted of a full skirt in gray tulle, which was embroidered with black birds by Sarah Esmoint. For accessories, Markle opted for her favorite pair of Aquazzura stilettos and a luxury ring by Birks. So I just want to go back up for a quick second and look at this dress. I love tulle. If y'all ever saw my wedding gown, I think you have before. I think it was like 13 layers of tulle. Yeah, it was a really, really puffy dress, and it was really hard to see it in pictures, but in person, it was insane. And I will say, thankfully, although at the time it was annoying, thankfully I forgot my hoop skirt, which would have helped me walk better. However, I think with that many layers of tulle, the hoop skirt would have just made it ridiculous. So although I could not walk, it still looked appropriate. So I am a tulle fan. I love this. And she has great legs. These heels are also perfect because of the cut of the dress and the length of the dress. You get to see the full on Aquazzura pump with the accent at the back. I call it the little bird ears or the rabbit ears. So I just thought this look was amazing, and it's one of my absolute all-time favorite evening gowns or evening looks by Meghan.
Her Royal Highness, the Duchess of Sussex.
Good evening, everyone. It is such a pleasure to be here in my new home of the UK. The winner this evening is Claire Waite-Keller.
This woman is so amazing, and to have someone like that trust you in an incredible moment in their life is something that is just the most unbelievable honor, and I can't thank you enough.
And of course, for this last look, I will be pulling from Vogue yet again. And the title of this article is British Fashion Awards 2018 Surprise Guest Meghan Markle wore Givenchy. The British Fashion Awards celebrated its 34th edition yesterday at the Royal Albert Hall in London. A surprise guest welcomed Claire Waite-Keller, who took home British Designer of the Year, Women's Wear, to the stage, Meghan Markle wearing none other than a baby bump hugging Givenchy dress. This is translated by Hannah Larvin. That is such a sweet photo. Oh my gosh. Wow, she looked amazing. The annual event dedicated to the best of British and international fashion had a happy surprise for guests in the form of a duchess. Meghan Markle presented friend and designer Claire Waite-Keller with an award. The artistic director of Givenchy took home the British Designer of the Year Women's Wear. Arguably, Waite-Keller's design of the year was Markle's royal wedding dress, which the fashion world will not forget in a hurry. Since her wedding day, Markle has been spotted wearing many Givenchy designs, and her British Fashion Awards look was no exception. Markle wore a black velvet asymmetric gown that cradled her baby bump, as well as a multitude of gold cuff bracelets. She looked amazing. I loved this entire look. I love the off the shoulder or the asymmetrical. I love the velvet. I'm a big fan of velvet. And I love the gold shoes. They don't show them here, but I actually have a photo that I'm going to share where they show the shoes. So now that we have talked about some of my favorite evening gowns and evening looks from Meghan, I will allow her time to share a little bit about her absolute favorite gown.
You? Very well, thank you.
Fantastic.
Is it as beautiful as you remember?
My goodness, it's amazing, isn't it?
It's exciting. I think probably every girl's dream, but
It's nice to see it again. It's
The silk veil is 16 feet long, and the elaborate floral decoration took 500 hours to embroider. Our represents one of the 53 nations of the Commonwealth.
I think also with Harry's role as youth ambassador for the Commonwealth was so important for us to have the spirit of inclusivity in our wedding.
it's a very touching gesture, I think, to have them with you. It was a day, an important day for all those countries.
I stuck in a couple flowers that were important to me as well personally, but there is a California poppy in there, which has nothing to do with the Commonwealth, but
Has
it's where
something to do
I'm
with
from.
you, though.
Yes. So that
So those are some of my favorite formal gowns by Meghan. And of course, it was nice to take a look back at her amazing wedding gown. Again, that is on display in the UK. She does not have it with her. You know my feelings on that. But it was really nice to see her looking at her dress and chatting with us a little bit about that. All of the links to these articles and videos used today are sourced in the description box below for your viewing pleasure. Of course, all of the usage of this is protected under fair use, but I wanted to share that in case you wanted to see the full work. I highly encourage it. Also, it's great for them to get the traction for positive Sussex content. But also, before I get out of here, I want to say thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, I know my moderators have probably reminded you, but go ahead and hit that like button and feel free to leave a comment when this is over. And before you get out of here, I have a little bit of feedback from one of the most iconic fashion figures ever. She will go down as one of the most fashion forward people in history. And she weighed in a little bit on Meghans Style. So you get to hear that before you go. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.
I've been very taken by the way Meghan Markle has been dressing. The Duchess of Sussex have been dressing throughout her pregnancy. Her heels actually seem to be getting taller every time I look at a picture of her. In a way, flaunt it. So go for it.